Welcome to Slow and Steady, the podcast where you get to follow along as we figure out how to build products and recover from burnout. I'm Benedikt.
And I am Brian. Each week, we'll give you an honest peek into our lives as we figure things out. Today is January 5th, and I'm feeling great.
This is episode number 72, and I just extinguished a fire.
Yeah, not a literal
not a little
oxygen-consuming fire.
Yeah. Well, oxygen-consuming, I don't know about that.
That's true, yeah. It probably did, didn't it? We're hitting record an hour-ish or so later than normal because you popped on and said, "Hey, man." What's going on?
Well, we had someone in user list figured out a new way to mess things up without them knowing.
Yeah, totally.
And which caused our background queues to just explode with jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And what made things worse was that my fire extinguisher was stuck in a way, because for some reason that I don't quite understand, all of Heroku's APIs and dashboards and stuff like that were super slow for me. I was trying to diagnose things and tweak settings, and it was near impossible to use the endpoints. And I tried everything. I reconnected all my wires, cables, rebooted my computer, reset the router, all of it.
Did you blow on the cartridge? Did you blow on the cartridge? Did you try blowing on the cartridge?
No, I didn't try that one.
But
the thing that ultimately fixed it or improved things was just, instead of using my regular ISP, was to just enable the VPN, and suddenly it was fast. So it must be something in my ISP's network or whatever. Yeah. But once I had that part figured out, I was finally able to actually work on the problem at hand. And after that, it was relatively easy to fix. Once again, it was the thing that bite me was the counter caching that I implemented about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, I think I said it before, it's just not the right pattern for a high write load application. Just doesn't work.
Why? So in the past year, why hasn't that sprung up and bitten you?
It has.
Now? Oh, okay. Okay.
In other parts of the application, this particular one hasn't been a problem so far, but that's probably just out of pure luck.
Okay.
The thing that was a problem today was that one of our customers, one of the bigger ones, added a trigger to one of their automations that basically started the campaign for 20 or 30,000 of their users at the same time. And overall, the system was able to handle it, except for updating that counter cache that just shows you how many users are currently active in this particular campaign. So basically 30,000 jobs try to update one counter field at the same time, and that just crashed everything.
Took it down. But all sorted out, fire extinguished. You're good?
Yeah, fire extinguished. I just removed that counter cache, to be honest. I still have to go back and figure out a proper solution tomorrow, but at least things are working again.
Yes. Okay. Well, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, what else? How was your? Tell me about. I see something in the notes, and we've already talked about it, and I was very excited about this. But you go ahead.
Yeah. First of all, Happy New Year, Brian.
Happy New Year, Benedikt.
We made it through 2020, I guess.
Yes. It is entirely symbolic and arbitrary.
Totally.
That particular rotation of the Earth, but oh man, it feels good. It feels good.
It feels good, but also it went by quick for some reason. Every day felt like a struggle in a way.
Yeah.
But overall, I feel like the year overall went by really quick. Probably because I nothing happened, like in terms of like activities, no traveling, no concerts, no nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So every day felt like the day before, and looking back, it was like, yeah, I didn't do anything other than staying at home and working.
I feel like it felt like one of the longest years ever. It has, I mean, I guess in looking back, I mean, years always move by quick. There's like that
Yeah.
saying that, the days are long and the years are short, I think is the most accurate description of
Yeah.
the human observation of passage of time. But
Hmm.
um oh man, yeah, I just felt like it's just one one em- you know emotion draining thing
Oh
after
yeah, for
another.
sure.
But oh man, feels good to be through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
How'd you ring in the new year?
We visited a friend who happens to be a colleague of my girlfriend.
Mhm.
Um, so it was okay. They're seeing each other every day, so infection risk
But
was pretty
yeah,
low.
yeah,
Also, like
right. Gotta
my girlfriend's friend already had it, so she has antibodies
okay. Yeah.
in her, so
Yeah.
we should be good. So we spent New Year's at her place and had a lot of food. I think we spent like we were eating leftovers from that particular night for 4 days. Like the usual, you
Nice.
plan for way too much, and then
Yes.
yeah,
Well, that's fine. It's
you
just
keep eating on it.
divided over multiple
Um,
meals. Yeah.
but yeah, that's about it. I mean, over here in Germany, basically all sorts of celebrations were forbidden.
Mhm.
No fireworks, no gatherings outside.
Yeah.
So there wasn't much we could do other
Yeah.
than that. But yeah, it was nice. What about you?
Strange. Strange. We went so my sister-in-law, my wife's sister, and her husband live about 25, 30 minutes away from us here. And so and equally, quarantined and we're, being very safe about, their exposures and everything. And so we went over there and hung out with them. But I mean, not until midnight. Like we I think we left there at 9:30 p.m. And I mean, I was falling asleep at like 10:45 or 11. I was just, I would apologize to my wife later. I was like, I was not much of a party pal. But then we did it at 12 at midnight. Our two oldest kids, our girls, had stayed up, and so we went and rang in the new year with them and counted down and shouted and everything. It was it was, but it was odd and low key. Typically we're yeah getting together with a ton of friends and sharing
Mm,
fondue pots and like finger foods and
yeah,
which just seems absolutely absurd now. But now, so yeah, it was different, but yeah, we had a good time. Good
yeah,
time.
yeah. Nice.
What else?
Yeah,
What
and
else?
other
What else is new with you, Benedikt? I mean,
in other big news is I got engaged on
woo,
Christmas.
woo, nice. Okay,
Said
what
yes.
what what day exactly? Did you say
The 24th, like
the 24th,
Christmas Eve.
Christmas
That's
Eve?
in Germany. We celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve
Uh-huh.
usually,
Okay.
and yeah, I thought
That
it was about
is
time.
that is awesome. Congrats. I pulled up the I pulled up the Google Doc of the outline. I was like, "What? That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
Congratulations." So what's
yeah.
the what's the plan? And I mean, are you even thinking about like when it
No,
would be? Just like, yeah,
we're not making any plan.
yeah.
Well, we're starting to think about it, but no planning in terms
No
of date or
specifics.
location or
Yeah.
whatever, because it feels like Yeah.
Why?
I mean, there's no point in planning anything. Like, I mean, I think it's technically possible to get married right now, but I mean, I think you're allowed to bring like 3 or 4 guests, so it
Mm,
feels like,
yeah. No, you
yeah,
wanna
I don't know. It's like
wait.
we've been together for 10 years. Like last year was our 10-year anniversary, so it
Mhm.
feels like a couple more months, or even if it's a year, it's it's probably not a big
That's
deal.
yeah. Well, congrats, man. Did she see it coming? Had y'all begun to talk about, "Hey, let's do this," or
She's been teasing me for the last probably at least 5 years of like,
okay.
you're never going to marry me anyway. So she didn't really see it coming.
Awesome.
So it
Wow.
was nice. Yeah.
Well,
I think for a
congrats.
second she was thinking that I'm joking. But it wasn't. So
Oh, well, that is that's the best news I've heard so far in 2021.
yeah, it was a nice way to end the year.
Mm, mm.
Unfortunately, we also got some sad news shortly after. Like we shared the news with a friend. Like we don't have that many friends around, especially local friends.
Local in
Um,
Darmstadt. Yeah.
yeah, and when we shared it with one of our friends, he also shared that he's moving away. He's moving to Sweden. So
Oh.
the already uh, low count of friends, local friends, is shrinking even more. So that's a
Mm.
little bit sad. And unfortunately, he's also the one I'm sharing my downtown office with.
Okay.
Um, so
So
I have to figure something out there as well. I mean, honestly, I haven't been using that downtown office that much this year for obvious reasons. But I kind of like it. I want to keep
ready
it.
to
But
yeah.
just for just me, it's too big and too expensive. So yeah, I have to figure something out there.
Yeah. Well, good luck. Good luck finding a new office mate.
Yeah, that's the plan for now. And then if
Yeah.
that doesn't work out, then probably have to just cancel the lease and
Mm.
stay in the home office forever.
Oh gosh. Yes. This is our lives now.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah. What
uh,
about you? What's new with you?
well, I mean, I'm able to say that your news is the most exciting news of 2021 because the news that we got on the very last day of 2020 was that my wife's parents were in line for the vaccine. Um, and like on very last minute notice, they didn't even know
Nice.
if they were going to be able to get it when they told us they were in line, and they were able to, like, right under the, and so that was, yeah, many tears of joy over here. So that was awesome news. But yeah, the holiday was weird, different, but great. Lots of awesome family time. Um, and yeah, ring in the new year and just sort of continuing to settle into a different kind of, routine and approach to what I want to do this upcoming year. I mean, I feel very certain that it's going to be, pretty much dominated by preparing for the year on the road that will, kick
Mm,
off in June, preparing for that, and then, executing on it, like being on the road,
yeah.
um, as well as, um, really focusing on this new client that just fits in perfectly with my goals right now. Um, and yeah, really making a lot of very intentional time towards nurturing this board game design hobby, whether or not it's this specific game or like multiple ones. um yeah, and that's really what my, like, the past few weeks have been, is knocking out work for this client, keeping them super happy, and then co-designing this game with my friend. um it's been really, really fun. I feel
Yeah, I
very,
saw you share
very
some
relaxed.
You shared some pictures of the board game
Yes.
design process or whatever
Yeah.
on
Yeah, I
Twitter,
love.
and it already looks super advanced. Like I didn't expect like even nice designs and prints and stuff like that.
it.
So you're
Yeah,
definitely making progress there.
yeah, yeah. I had to actually log into Twitter to share that. Just kind of wanted to have it, logged somewhere, and I'll keep sharing things. Yeah, the first, I mean, we're calling the one that we're on right now like version 0.4 because we only have one side of the game design. There's the hiker side, and then there's the rescue team side, and we're just trying to get the mechanics of the hiker right now. And so just been multiple rounds of hand drawn cards, but now I've got it. I've actually got Figma set so that it will import all of our content from Google Sheets and just update all the designs. It's been
Nice.
really helpful. And then we just can from here forward just be able to spit out some prints and cut them up. Actually, my copy of the deck is upstairs right now, or I would show it to you, but yeah, it feels like it's really coming together. I think within the next week or two, probably 2 weeks, I'll be able to share a URL here where people can go and take a look at it or try it out even.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And did I get it right? Like you're generating Figma designs from Google Sheets?
So in Figma, I've got basically a component for multiple different cards. So just for people go to the show notes and just look at this picture. There's like one deck that is like things that can happen to you in the morning or night, like a mishap that you have to resolve, and it has like a description text. And so I can create 25 different instances of that component. And then there's this Figma plugin where I point it to a sheet, a tab within a particular Google sheet, and then point it at a column. And by naming, then using the naming conventions of the layers in Figma, you sync it, and it pulls
Nice.
the cell data, updates the cards. It is awesome. It is really
That
cool.
sounds pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Interesting.
great. It's great. Really helpful for like making revisions really quickly, because then I'll be
Mhm.
able to export all of those individual instances as individual images and throw them up into Tabletopia or Tabletop Simulator that I was describing to you, a couple weeks
Yeah.
ago. So that's how people, I think, that listen, if they want to play it, will first be able to try it out, is just logging in and trying out the digital version. So
Awesome. We should probably like at one point just. I mean, how many players is it? Like two or
well, so it'll
four? Or?
be, I mean, it will be like 2 to 5. So there will be
Okay.
one player, is lost, and then on the other side is a team, which could be, 1 to probably 3 people, 4 people. Yeah.
I feel like at some point we just should just like play it together and
Yes. Yeah.
maybe live stream it or record it or
Oh
whatever.
man, that would be so much fun.
That would
That
be
would
fun.
that would be awesome. Yeah. We have to, the thing we're working on now that I think is going to take a couple of weeks to get right, which is why I'm saying I'm not sure how long it'll be till people can play it. Now we have to get the rescue team rules and cards and components built out. So, but once that's done, yeah, it'll be playable. So,
Cool.
anyway, yep.
Excited to see progress on this. It's becoming a real thing.
Yeah, it really is. It feels like it's becoming a real thing. I mean, yeah, I hope people are interested enough that this is like going to be a focus of mine for a little while. So, but hey, the other thing we were talking about is the year compass booklet,
Yeah.
which we had an episode on that at the very beginning of the year. So we're gonna dig into that a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, I
I
finished
mean,
mine yesterday.
yeah,
Well, yeah, as you said, like before, like sort of finished it. I mean, there's always you can always change stuff and add stuff, but I
yeah. I still feel
most
like
of it
I
is
want to
done.
give
Yeah.
another good, hour or two some evening and really fill the rest of them out. But
Yeah.
what was the experience like for you looking back over, last year's and realizing how much different it was?
Yeah. So, what was interesting, like in the process in general, was this year it felt much easier to just like do the recap of the last year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it felt so much harder to actually come up with a plan or even thoughts for 2021,
Mm-hmm.
because like there's so much uncertainty that I don't even know what to expect, and that was really interesting to notice.
Yeah.
Um,
And let me
yeah,
let me let me jump in just in case people either didn't hear that or have absolutely no idea what we're talking about. There's this, and you should check it out. Go to yearcompass.com. Um, and it's essentially it's just this little booklet that you print out where the first half-ish or so is reflecting on the year, that was. What was, in these different areas of your life, like the past year, your personal life and family, your health and fitness, intellectual things, friends and community, belongings, etc. Um, and yeah, just reflecting on everything and the things that the people that had the biggest impact on you, the things that had the biggest impact on you. And then you do a similar exercise in imagining the year ahead. And so yeah, we did that. We did that last year. I think I've been doing this since 2014 and 15. Um, and so yeah, that's what we're talking about, y'all. Just in case you're, to be sure that we're not completely losing
yeah,
people on context. Um, yeah, I felt similarly about this. Is like the question being, this is what my next year will be about, and thinking, well, the biggest thing I learned over the past year is I have no idea.
hmm,
um, I, I can I can imagine, I can you know, think of what it might be about, but so much of this year was just releasing control or expectations of control.
yeah, 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 for sure. That's also one thing that I noticed. Well, no surprise there, but like a lot of things that I was planning to do, or that I expected to do didn't happen. Um, but in the end, it wasn't as many as I feared. Like I actually
Mm,
managed to get some of the things done, um, or well, cross off the bucket list and stuff like that. So it wasn't as bad, but of course, like um, going to the US to MicroConf didn't happen. Meeting
yeah,
you didn't happen.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
FemtoConf didn't happen. Like all everything that involved like traveling or like meeting people. That I mean, no surprise there. Just yeah, none
Hmm.
of that did happen. And um, yeah, but like
Yeah.
still, the list of things that were kind of nice was longer than I feared. So
Yeah. That's for sure one thing that I did. I mean, I guess at a macro level, um, just realizing I can control almost nothing. But, some of the specific little things, from the previous year that I said I wanted to focus on, and things I wanted to do, how I wanted to start my morning, like so many of those things are still in my control. Um, and almost always the thing that stands between me and those things is myself. It's my
yeah,
mindset, or, or
yeah,
my own discipline. Um, so that was an interesting thing to reflect on, how few things are in our control, but also how many little daily, hourly things are completely within our own abilities. So
yeah.
yeah.
What was also interesting was that um, looking back, especially at things that I plan to do or plan to improve on, I totally forgot about. Like, um, and they're also not like, as a result, not really solved. For example, last year I was planning to manage my mental health a little bit better, like don't stress out so much about work and try to improve sleeping and stuff like that. And it feels like I haven't made any progress on any of
Mhm.
those fronts, because when I was thinking about this again, I was like, yeah, okay, biggest problem is I'm stressed out about work way too much, and I should probably do something about it. But I don't know, for some reason, I totally forget that it was one of my goals
A
of
goal, yeah.
things to work on. So I think I should just, like, as a learning, try to get this booklet out like once a quarter and just like remind myself what I should be focusing on, or what I
Yeah,
should be working on.
yeah. I was I think I've even done that a few times before where that's been helpful is, um, just to type some of these things into a Google Calendar that just pulls up and reminds me, 'cause you're totally right, like, my mine okay, from last year, "This year I will be bravest when" prompt, and my answer was, "The world insists" okay, "I will be bravest when the world insists that I be afraid and negative. Instead, I will be optimistic." Well, there were many big reasons for the world to insist that I be afraid, and I succumbed to it, succumbed to, like, fear and worst case scenario visions. Um, and it would have been helpful to have looked back on that page and that prompt uh and be reminded of that a bit, because I did not fare well there. Um, yes, it's got me thinking how I want to remind myself a little bit more. I also said one of the places I wanted to visit was a finish line, because I really wanted to do an Olympic distance triathlon. Um, I could lie and say that the reason that I didn't do one is because all of those events got canceled, which they did. Um, but I could not run 3 miles right now, 5 kilometers right now if I had to,
Hmm.
and that's all my fault. So
Yeah.
just another interesting reminder there. So what are you thinking about? I mean, did you get to the year ahead section of the booklet for 2021?
Yeah, I did. But as I said, like I had a hard time like making plans,
Yeah.
um, because it feels like there's so much uncertainty. Like there's the section in the year ahead planning where it's "Dare to Dream Big" is the headline, and one
Yes.
of the things is
Yes.
just get through COVID. Like, if I have to
Yeah.
if I'm allowed to dream big, then my dream would be that we kind of get back to normal, or
Yeah.
some sort of, well, some sort of normal. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be the same normal that we had like in 2019,
Mhm.
um, but at least be able to go outside without feeling bad about it, or
Yeah,
and maybe even meeting people, and
totally.
traveling again would be nice. I feel like
Mhm.
I could really use some time away for a while,
Yes.
or even on the weekends. Like, usually we um, at least from time to time, just like get in the car, drive somewhere, spend a day in another city or something like that. And
Yes.
that's not happening right now because it's, well, technically it probably is allowed, but there's nothing you can do in the other cities. Like,
Yeah, what do you go to another city to
yeah,
not sit and, visit the things to do. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And it would be nice to just do stuff like that again. Just
Mhm.
see
Yeah,
different
it is
stuff
it
again.
is funny when, dare to dream big about the year ahead, and you're like, "Well, it would be nice to meet some friends at a restaurant and greet them with a hug." Like,
Yeah.
could that be okay again? That would be so nice. That would
I
be
go to a
huge.
restaurant. Like all restaurants around here are closed right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I think, and this is why I was able to say, at the top of this episode, I feel really certain that my next year is going to be dominated by the year on the road and seeing where this game, hobby
Yeah.
goes, because so many of these, the year ahead categories, definitely centered around those ideas and what that's gonna be like. What's funny, the thing that it appears did actually pan out from the 2019-2020 booklet on the the bucket list. This is before we had even started sharing it with anybody. My bucket list thing was, well, are we going to start laying the groundwork to do a year on the road? And so everything else doing what it did, that still that has definitely played out here in the end of 2020. So
Yeah. So I'm curious, what's your word for the year ahead?
I'm deciding between two.
Okay.
So I'll remind, last year was Echo, which just meant a lot to me. I turned 40 last year, and just like, echoing all the things I learned, in the quote first half, but so far in my life, learning from that and echoing it forward with some kind of wisdom, hopefully, was kind of at the root of that. And so for this upcoming year, the two words that I keep thinking about are dream and play. Both of which just feel like giving myself a little, just giving myself more permission to just, either dream bigger, without expectations, or just release myself of the feeling that I need to be, everything I do needs to be effective, productive, efficient, responsible, mature, adult, blah blah blah, etc. And just realizing that it's really important to just play from time to time. So
Yeah.
those are mine. What about you?
Yeah. So last year I wrote down growth as the word for 2020. Not entirely sure that played out well. I mean, we did grow user list. I think MRS about 5 times what it was at the beginning of the year, which is, I mean, it's not nothing. But this year for 2021, I picked sustainability.
Nice. Yeah.
As my word, because I feel like that plays into so many things. Like, for one, obviously, like user lists should be self-sustaining and sort of default alive. I mean, it's still way off, but we totally have to work on that. And also connected to that is, but like working on it itself should be sustainable as
Needs
well.
to be sustainable for you. Yeah.
I feel like last year was a lot about rushing and like putting in a lot of energy and sprints and just like, or even not even sprints. It felt like a marathon. And I talked to Jane about this a little bit a couple of days ago, and we just feel, we feel wasted and burned out a bit. And so just sustainability in just working on it is a factor as well that we have to focus on, and I have to focus on, and even if that means like working less in a way.
Yeah.
Just like it has to be sustainable on a financial side, but also on an energy level side, and that's the part I have to figure out in 2021.
Do you feel like you've got some ideas for what you want to like hold yourself either accountable to or give yourself permission for, or do you have some ideas on that?
I think I should take more time off. And funny enough, like looking at the 2019 or the plan for 2019 was somewhere in there. Can't seem to find it. Yeah, here it is. Things I will pamper myself with regularly. One thing I wrote down there was taking a day off just for myself from time to time. I didn't do that one time.
How many of those did you? Yes, 0. Yeah.
And maybe I should do this more deliberately this year. Maybe even schedule it on the calendar. Like, just one day a week where just take the day off and do something. Like, do something fun. Just relax a bit or whatever.
Guilt-free. It's that it, man. I mean, it is such a cliche that we know you got to do that.
Yeah,
but it's just so hard to
there's
do.
always something else.
Yeah,
something is pulling your attention away, or like just requiring that you put in work. And like a lot of times over 2020, it felt like I don't have the time to rest, because there's always so much to do, and there's always the looming deadline of running out of cash and stuff like that. So yeah, I think the goal for this year is just to make it more sustainable, just like be more careful with my energy, and still try to figure out how to make the company self-sustainable. I mean, it's kind of a push and pull there. It's on opposite ends of the spectrum in a way, and the challenge will be to figure out both, like figure out a sustainable business model or whatever for a user list, but also a sustainable way to work on it.
It's the thing that feels really hard for me, or felt really hard most of the year, is to take time off when your idea, when your business is default dead, when it is not in default alive. And maybe we're just like, grass is greener on the other side here, but it sure seems like it's easier to focus on those long-term sustainability things personally when the business is default alive and could be long sustainable. Because I mean, right now it feels like, got to figure out everything there is to do to crack this thing. So,
exactly.
Well,
I mean, don't have the answer yet, but
no answer for that right now. Yeah, but good luck with it. So our sustainability, pretty set on that word.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good luck. Yeah, and people listening, I seriously highly encourage you to go to yourcompass.com and print it out. Make a cup of tea, sit by a fire, give an evening to it. It's really good. I feel like it's a really good practice. So, any other big topics or things from the year you want to cover?
No, I think that's the big parts, I guess. It's also recurring themes. Like, that's one thing that I'm not entirely sure if I'm doing this year compass thing correctly in a way, because it feels like a couple of things just repeat themselves in various variations in the different boxes. So
something to be observed and learned from that. For sure.
Do you have anything else?
No, we can tie this one up, and we'll talk next week. Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, Happy New Year, and see you or hear you next week.